As the adventuring party ventures through the desolate and frigid wastelands, a sense of unease settles upon them, an ominous premonition of impending danger. Amidst the howling winds and swirling snow, they stumbled upon a dilapidated hut cloaked in frost, embedded into a rocky alcove. Stepping cautiously inside, the party encounters a figure draped in tattered, icy robes, her pale, gnarled hands gripping a staff made from a frozen spinal cord. Her piercing blue eyes fixated on the intruders with a chilling intensity. Wisps of frost escaped from her crooked grin as she offered cryptic riddles and veiled threats. The air around her crackles with an otherworldly coldness, and the party feels the weight of her malevolent presence. Sensing her hunger from both mischief and suffering, the hag's lair exudes an aura of ancient malevolence, warning the adventurers of the perilous encounter they now face with this sinister and powerful creature dwelling in the heart of the frozen wastes. In today's video, to start the new year off, we are going over the Bur Hag. Hello and welcome to Dungeon Deep Dive, where we talk about all things D&D monsters, from monsters and their lore to their publication history, where they originated, and how you can use them in your D&D games. First off, I hope everyone had an amazing Christmas and a new year, but in today's video we are going over the soothsayers and fortune givers of the frozen tundras, the Bur Hag. The very appropriately named Bur Hag made their first appearance in D&D in the 1995 AD&D 2nd edition Forgotten Realms book Spellbound. In the book it says that the Bur Hag, or Blue Hag in some circles, are said to be bringers of winter, capable of spreading deadly cold over a wide area. In all of the stories of the Blue Hags, they are described as wrinkled old women with pale blue-white skin resembling a corpse that's died in the cold, with snow-white stringy hair and wrapped up in grey-brown tattered rags. They're always depicted carrying a gnarled icy grey staff that could be misconstrued as a walking stick for someone traversing the snowy plains. It says that Blue Hags are known to work with the likes of Orglashers, which are essentially ice elementals that live on the material plane. They found that working together they could mislead, attack and then devour travelers that are brave enough to wander through the blistering cold snow. There are some that say the mere presence of a Bur Hag in the land can cause the heaviest of winters, where others say that the cold of winter could draw in a Bur Hag to call it their new home. A Bur Hag's choice of attack is similar to that of an Uthraki, which is an ape-like creature with grey fur and jet black eyes that go all around the face. These guys are very interesting all in themselves, and I would actually be really curious about doing a video on them, so let me know. They prefer to hunt lone travelers that wander too far off the commonly treaded paths and freeze them and then devour their frozen bodies, similar to the eating habits of a white dragon. Similar to the creatures from the show From, Bur Hags can also sneak into people's homes if the doors and windows are not properly secured and snatch up unsuspecting children and villagers, taking them out into the snow to feast. I would highly recommend anyone watch From, by the way. The show is very good. If you haven't seen it, if you have seen it, you'll know what I'm talking about, but I highly recommend watching it if you haven't already. It's a very good show. If you are unlucky enough to encounter a Blue Hag while she is feeding, then the mere sight of the feasting will drive anyone mad and hit them with blindness. If a player is a witness to the feasting, then you must make a successful save against death magic, or have a 75% chance to be blinded, or a 25% chance to be driven mad. If you're unlucky enough to be driven mad, the DM would have control of your character and could make you flee, attack anyone nearby, or just collapse into a catatonic state. The madness effect can last up to 2d6 days unless they are hit with a cure disease spell or a remove curse spell. The Blue Hag then later on made an appearance in the 1996 Monstrous Compendium Annual Volume 3. But there's no real additional information that were added in the book. It was basically just a copy over straight from Spellbound. Now moving on to 3rd edition, Bur Hags made an appearance in the 2003 Forgotten Realms Unapproachable East book. Blue Hags are said in this book to be unique to Rashamen, also known as Land of the Berserkers in the Forgotten Realms, and is considered nearly inhospitable by many who call Faerun their home. In the book it says that there is only one Bur Hag in the Forgotten Realms, as no more than one Bur Hag has been seen at one time. But by the way they like to hunt, it's probably because they are just solitary creatures, but sometimes inquire the help of ice elementals. Bur Hags are intelligent creatures and know when to retreat from a fight that is getting a little bit too dicey for them. But they are creatures that are known to hold a grudge, and they will later on set up an ambush for the enemies that drove them away and use its great maneuverability in the snow to lead them into inescapable deadfalls and snowdrifts. Now, when it comes to the staff of the hag, it is a spellcasting focus that the hag uses, and it allows the hag to cast a vast array of spells like Cone of Cold, Wall of Ice, and Hold Person. If the hag for some reason loses their staff, then it loses all spellcasting ability, and creating another staff can take up to a full year to craft a brand new one. In this book, there are actually two versions of the hag. There is the natural form of the Bur Hag, and then there is the enlarged form. Some of the stats get a nice little bump up, and they gain an additional 20 HP when they become enlarged. And when it comes to 4th edition, we don't get any additional writings into the monster manual, but we do get a winter hag that made an appearance in the 2008 Dragon magazine number 367. In this magazine, they are described as handmaidens of Uril, the goddess of wind and ice, and are described as chaotic creatures feared everywhere from their array of spells that they have, and on occasion for their counsel and skilled prognostication. In 4th edition, these guys are nothing to scoff at. Looking at the stat block, they have an aura called Whiteout, where severe snow and wind obscures sight and movement, and all creatures that start their turn inside the hag's aura gain total concealment and are slowed. But the hag is unaffected by the whiteout conditions and can see any enemies clearly. They also get the ability to change shape to look like a simple old crone of any medium or large humanoid race, possibly to sneak into towns or to trick lone travelers. They also get a teleportation ability called Blizzard Step, where they can move up to 10 squares away and then become invisible until the end of their next turn. That is a great getaway move. Sometimes when encountering a winter hag, there are times where it's not uncommon, but they will travel with ice archons, which are elemental creatures created by conjuring and bonding elementals into ritually created suits of armor to act like severe weapons of war. Now, moving on to the current 5th edition, we get Bur Hags in the book Volo's Guide to Monsters. This is one of my favorite 5th edition books, by the way, just for the monsters in there. Some of them are very cool. In 5th edition, it is the first edition where we read that Bur Hags can actually ride their staff as if it was a broom of flying. It also says that they are attracted to selfish actions justified by deadly cold, like murdering travelers for a winter coat they have to survive, or chopping down a woodland grove of a treant or a dryad for firewood. These actions are especially attractive for the hag if they are unwarranted actions, like hoarding more food than needed to survive the winters while others in the village are starving. And nothing brings more joy to the blue hag than planting seeds of selfishness and spitefulness in the middle of winter in the minds of mortals, and will often use their abilities to manipulate the winter weather to batter and torture villagers to push them against each other. Unlike in previous editions where the Bur Hag are said to be solitary creatures, in 5th edition they actually can have a coven like the other hags in 5e. When a Bur Hag manages to get themselves a home and establish a lair, when it comes to the more powerful Bur Hags like the grandmothers or the aunties, they will have the ability to create a small pocketed blinding blizzard around their lairs and will make them unpredictable and sporadic to throw off any travelers. Sometimes even anyone who has fallen to the conjured snowstorms and blizzards can occasionally break from their icy graves as zombies or specters to haunt the area. Okay, now that we've gone over the history of the blue hags, let's go over the 5th edition stats of the creature and how you can use them in your 5e games. Starting with the AC, they have an AC of 17 and a healthy dose of 91 hit points. They have a speed of 30 feet and a flying speed of 50 feet when using their staff as a broom of flying. They obviously have a damage immunity to cold damage and have a challenge rating of 7, similar to that of a Mind Flayer or a Stone Giant. They have an ability called Grey Staff Magic, which states that the hag carries a grey staff, a length of grey wood that is the focus of her inner power, and she can ride the staff as if it was a broom of flying. And while holding the staff, she can cast additional spells with her innate spellcasting trait. If the staff is lost or destroyed, then the hag must craft another, which takes a year and a day, and only a Bur Hag can use a grey staff. So if you find a staff of a Bur Hag, it will just look like a normal staff and be absolutely useless. They also have an ability called Ice Walk, where a hag can move across and climb icy surfaces without needing to make an ability check. Additionally, difficult terrains composed of ice or snow don't cost any extra movement. I feel like the climb icy surfaces could be great if they are encountering a party in like an icy cave where she could like be crawling on the walls and on the ceiling. I feel that would be a really spooky moment to scare your players. The hag has an innate spellcasting ability of Charisma with a spell save DC of 14 and a +6 to hit with the spell attacks. She can innately cast Ray of Frost at will and once a day control weather if they do not have their staff with them. But with the staff, they can also cast Hold Person at will. 3 times a day, they can cast Cone of Cold. 3 cones of cold a day, that's a lot of damage. Ice Storm and Wall of Ice. And moving on to the actions, they have a slam attack with a +4 to hit and a reach of 5 feet, and it deals 2d8 +1 bludgeoning damage and 1d6 cold damage. This attack is more of a last resort if the creature is cornered and not able to cast spells. And finally, they have a Maddening Feast action where the hag feasts on the corpse of one enemy within 5 feet of her that died within the past minute. Each creature of the hag's choice that is within 60 feet of her and able to see her must succeed on a DC 15 Wisdom saving throw or be frightened for 1 minute. While frightened in this way, a creature is incapacitated, can't understand what others say, can't read, and can only speak in gibberish. The DM then controls the creature's movements, which is erratic, and a creature can repeat a saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on a success. This is a very dangerous ability to have, because if they knock down a player and then the Bur Hag instantly goes to feast on the corpse, then everyone else in the party, even if everyone else in the party fails a save, that is big trouble for the entire party. That could be potential TPK territory. And obviously, if a creature's saving throw is successful or the effect ends for it, the creature is immune to the Maddening Feast for the next day. If your D&D campaign ever has a chance to venture off into a snowy landscape, I would highly recommend slapping one of these guys into the land for a possible encounter. You could have the Hag Stalker party traversing through the winter tundra, hitting them with blizzards and strong winds, withering their will down and leading them into a piece of land where the hag makes her attacks. And the area could also be sprinkled with bodies of past meals and zombies locked in ice. That could be fun. Or maybe if you're having an Xmas themed adventure, you could change it up and the Bur Hag could actually be your version of the Krampus for your story. Maybe they're a twisted winter hag that got corrupted by eating an abyssal creature and became twisted and became a corrupted hag. Then the party makes it to a snowy town where at night a strange creature has been creeping into people's homes at night, stealing children and villagers to feast upon. And then the party is tasked with figuring out what this creature is and destroying it. But that is all I have for you guys today on the Bur Hag. Thank you all for watching. I hope you found this video helpful, and if there's anything that you think I've missed in the video, I would love to hear about it in the comments below. What mostly would you like to see me cover in one of these videos? Let me know in the comments below and I will add your comment at the end of that video. You can find links to all my socials down below to keep up to date on the video and schedules. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.